Here we go. Got it all set up. All right. So this is, wait, hold on. I'm trying to remember the episode order.
Mhm. Okay.
All right. So this is episode 9 with your guest, Isaiah Todd, and your host, Jackson Wadley. All right, Isaiah, you ready for the first question?
I am.
Would you rather grow an acre of corn, wheat, or grapes?
It's an interesting question. Uh, I think I'd go with wheat simply
Uh,
because good.
did you cut off for something?
Okay, I thought something cut off on your end. Sorry.
Uh, all right.
All right. I'm going to start from the top.
Yeah.
All right.
Would you rather grow an acre of corn, wheat, or grapes?
I would grow a acre of wheat because there's a lot you can do with it. You can use the straw for bedding or sell it to someone. You can also use the wheat for another individual product. Also, my family has experience with growing wheat, so just be something I'm comfortable with.
That's actually, I don't know, I didn't expect that answer. Usually people say corn or grapes.
Mhm.
I said I didn't expect that answer because usually people would say corn or grapes.
Yeah. My family does grow field corn, but wheat's just something I'm more familiar with.
Um, Wait, what's the difference between field corn and sweet corn?
So field corn, at least as far as I know, it's really good for making feed for animals. While sweet corn, at least when you harvest it, typically it's a lot juicier, and you typically eat off the cob or cut it off to eat short term. But storage wise, field corn is just a lot drier, much easier to keep dry.
So since it drier doesn't mean that it rots. It takes longer for it to go bad?
I'm assuming that's the logic in it. Yeah.
All right.
Either way, you could give ether to animals, but field corn's just the typical way you go about it.
All right. What do you see your future in ag being?
So currently, my family owns 6 barns, finisher hog barns. So we raise 18,000 pigs a year. We're looking to get out of that at some point next few years. But after that, plans to own our own livestock and raise animals just within the family. So small term.
Hmm. Um, Wait, I'm trying to think of my next question. So you see yourself going down that farming pathway.
Mhm.
Do you ever see yourself giving on your same career onto your future kids?
Honestly, that depends if I do have kids or not. I'm not really looking into it, but if it happens, I end up getting into a relationship and all that, then well, that's what God's planned for me. Otherwise, I'm cool if not.
Hmm. Because um I was gonna follow it up with like, oh, do you want to start like a generational kind of farm?
Mhm.
Because you know how people have done farming for generations. Usually, like especially here in California, I know a lot of people that happen to be like second generation farmers, third generation, fourth. I think there's even some fifth generation farmers.
Yeah, so my family, as far as I remember, is about, I'd be the fourth or the fifth generation, as far as I know. But it seems a lot of people just more and more are leaning out of it. So I'm not sure how long my family can keep going. I have an interest in keeping going as long as though.
Hmm. All right. Um, Describe your SAE project, or if you have multiple SAE projects, just describe them all.
Okay, so I just have the one. It'd be working on my family's hog finisher barns. So we contract raise pigs with Kalmbach Feeds. So they own the pigs and provide all the feed. We own the land and the barns and tend the pigs. So essentially, my job is loading pigs out of the barns, maintenance, burying dead pigs, and just any other general.
Hmm. Um, Do you do anything else on your family farm besides the entire thing with swine?
Pretty much no. My uncle, he's out of the picture for swine, but he does a lot of field work. It's mostly just me and my dad that do the pigs, and occasionally we'll reach over, help the other with something, but for most of it's their own thing.
Hmm. All right. Following up that question, would you consider yourself a leader?
If you asked me 2 years ago, definitely not. I absolutely despise being a leader. I never planned to do anything about being a leader, but past year or two, it's really changed. So I became chapter reporter, and this is my second year as chapter reporter. I'm now a FFA and USA reporter as well. So I'm going to share our chapter story across the entire country, which is pretty cool. I lead a Bible study at my school, and I'm looking to become a state officer next year.
Hmm. I have seen a lot of people become FFA in the USA reporters. Do you mind if I ask
Mhm.
what that entirely is? Because I've seen it, I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, so it's a new program this year. There's always been the FFA in the USA and the FFA Horizons magazines, but now they're branching out to members to write articles about their chapters, take pictures, record videos, and then share those abroad. So every single month, you're supposed to submit at least one story, if not more, and you'll be trained by national professionals on writing articles, sharing stories, all that. So it's more professional.
Huh. So you're serving as a chapter officer? Are you serving any other officer positions?
No, just chapter moment.
Before I ask my next question, how do you
Mhm.
guys divide up? Okay, so here in California, we have four different levels. Well, not four. I mean, technically five different levels of FFA.
Okay.
So you have the chapter level. This is your chapter. Everything chapter wide falls under chapter. On top of
Mhm.
that, we have a section. In other areas, I believe they're called areas or districts.
Okay.
So
So,
the section level for us comprises anywhere between 10 to 20 chapters, all within the same kind of uh within that same area. Like for us, pretty much from the center of our section, you could go 1 hour in any direction and you're still going to be in that section.
okay. So for Ohio anyway, we're a bit of a smaller state, but there's different districts within Ohio. So if I'm remembering correctly, we're District 2, but I don't think there's any leadership for each individual level. So there's a chapter, district, then I think it's just state for us. So we were state officer team and chapter officer teams, but I don't think there's anything between those.
Oh, okay. Because for us, I think we're the second largest, I want to say second largest state in ag, right behind Texas. We have, I
Yeah.
want to say a little over 100,000 members. So
Oh, wow.
naturally, we have leadership roles for every position. So you have chapter. For me, I'm a sectional sentinel for our
Mhm.
section. And then building onto that, we have regions. So I want to say for our region, we're called the San Joaquin region because we're pretty much in the San Joaquin Valley. I want to say that we have, trying to think of them all, eight eight sections within our region.
Okay.
And then, so those eight sections, they form a region. And then we have six regions in California.
Hmm. So yeah, as far as Ohio goes, I've never heard anything about that, but there is the possibility. It's just something my chapter has never discussed since we're a bit smaller as far as chapters go. But it is very possible that there is higher level levels, or at least a few other levels.
All right. But yeah, since we're pretty big, they make a ton of subdivisions to compensate for that. I don't know how many members in Ohio FFA. I would need to look it up,
Let's see.
but
So I don't
but
know
I
the exact number. State convention had 10,000 members. That paints
10
the picture for you.
10,000?
Yep.
Ooh, I want to say our state convention had around 8,000, but
Okay.
naturally, since the state is so big, not everybody can come.
Mhm.
I mean, of course, every chapter is required to send like two delegates, somebody that represents your chapter. But
Yeah.
last year well, no, sorry. Last year it was held in Ontario, which is in Southern California. I want to say the edge of Orange County. Not sure if you know where that is.
Not really too familiar with it.
Orange County, when you think SoCal and you're not, well, when you're thinking of Southern California and you're not thinking Los Angeles, you're probably thinking Orange County. Because Orange
Okay.
County, I need to look up what they have, but they have places like Ventura, they have Ontario. A lot of that Southern California farming happens in Imperial Valley, but Orange County is home to a lot of suburbs and real estate.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting a little off topic, but so last year it was held in Ontario. Naturally, a lot of people from the north couldn't go because you're pretty much having to drive or take a plane across the entire state of California. This year it was held in Sacramento. Sacramento's more towards the center, don't get me wrong, but since Sacramento is north, a lot of those southern FFA chapters, they found it harder to attend since now they need to drive up the entire state of California towards the north.
Yeah, because your state very much as the entire as far south and north as the US goes. So very big distance.
Yeah. But that's really interesting. I honestly would have expected Ohio FFA to have maybe like 4,000, 5,000 members for their state convention because I do know that Ohio is one of the bigger states within ag, but 10,000 just sounds crazy to me.
So that was actually a record breaking number for us, but normally it's around there, if not 8,000, 9,000.
Do you know why it was record breaking this year?
Oh, it's just been on a bit of a rise. So Ohio has increased in membership with past few years, although for my chapter, it's kind of declined.
What is your guys' chapter anyways?
So I'm from the Liberty Benton FFA chapter. We have, I'm thinking 32 members right now. So pretty small, but we're pretty close batch.
Hmm. Anyways, I need to ask my next question before this gets too long. What do you think your impact is on your chapter?
Well, I'd say I'm a bit of a delegate of sorts. So I've really tried to build close connections with the state officer team. And recently I've been reaching out to some national officers and just people from across the country, trying to build those bonds and connections so that we can grow our chapter's influence, build it. I'm really big on the networking side of things.
Hmm. Since your chapter is one of the smaller chapters within Ohio, I assume.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a bit
Um,
more of a urban school, so not a whole lot of rural people.
but I was gonna say, what do you think your role is as a reporter in that? Besides the standard
So
duties of like, for example, handling social media, do you feel like you have any other additional duties since, if your chapter's smaller, you'd want to try and grow it?
yeah, so really my main focus. So since I'm not a big leader in the as far as the chapter goes, I'm not president or vice president. I want to trample on them. I always try to focus on pushing everyone to grow, get out of their comfort zone, and just take the full experience of FFA because that's the only way we can really grow. We have to have everyone put in participation, and other people will join as well.
Um, do you ever, I'm trying to think. So what grade are you in within high school?
So this upcoming year here will be my junior year.
Okay, so same age.
Mhm.
Do you hope that your chapter will grow by the time that you graduate? Or do you want it to kind
Uh,
of stay small and local?
the plan's definitely to grow. This year, we're looking as an officer team to get as much growth as we can. We want to hopefully become a gold rated uh, chapter. It may not happen, but that's definitely a goal. If not this year, next year, and just continue to keep that growing going over the next few years.
All right. Um, and then building on to my previous question about your impact, do you feel like that you have an impact on the district and state level within Ohio FFA?
I would say so. If not by name, I know there's definitely at least a decent amount of people that know me by reputation. So, like I said, state officers, I wrote articles for all of them at the beginning of their time as state officers. So even if they didn't know my name personally or my face, they at least knew who I was. Just in general, try to push out articles and media from my chapter as much as I can. So at least a decent amount of people know who we are.
All right. Oh, actually, I'm running out of questions right now. Um, do you think that you have an impact on the national level?
As of right now, not too much. I've worked with, at this point, one national officer on an article about growth. I'm working on one with another national officer as well, but with their their schedule, it's pretty hard to fit in. Other than that, I'm not too nationally involved. I'm just with those two national officers.
Because I was gonna say, usually what happens is I ask people this question, they feel like that they don't have an impact on the national level. But to me, I think that we all do because we ourselves, we're not we're not the make or break of National FFA. I don't think anybody's ego is that big.
Mhm.
But I think that we all play a part. Now, if we have one last member, it might not be noticed. But what I really do appreciate about FFA is that we're all cogs, you know?
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
National FFA is one big machine, one big engine, each state serves a certain purpose. Each person within each state has their own duty to play. The way I like
Mhm.
thinking about it in my head is each person is a cog. Every every state itself is like a part of an engine. Like California is the piston. Um, Trying to give examples like California is the piston, Texas is the crankshaft, Florida is a screw. You know, they it sounds
Yeah.
dumb coming from me, but that's what I really like. It's all
Mhm.
to serve a bigger purpose because without a piston to an engine, does it work? No, not really. With If you remove a couple screws to really anything, is it going to work? No, not really. So I think
Mhm.
that we all do matter on the national level, even if we ah, I think my mic cut out. Even if we don't see it ourselves.
Yeah.
Um, you know what? I got a couple hypotheticals.
Alrighty.
Do you ever wish that you lived in another state?
I would say, honestly, no. Some people don't like my portion of Ohio. They say it's just real flat. Personally, I like it. It's home and there it's its own sort of culture of sorts. We really focus on field corn, wheat, and soybeans in this area of Ohio, and those are three really big products. And we're a pretty decent contributor to that in the US. Say, even if we're a small state, small region, we make a big impact, and glad to be part of that.
Hmm. Um, do you ever think that there's anything that Ohio FFA could improve upon, especially on the state level?
I'd say there definitely is things off the top of my head. Can't quite think of I would improve, but there's definitely areas for it. I'd say starting at the chapter level and then just working upward. There's always going to be an area you can improve, but at the same time, we're also at a pretty good point right now. But you never want to settle. You always want to strive to grow.
All right. Um, hold on. I'm trying to think of another hypothetical to ask. Are you going to national convention this year?
So I went last year. That was my first year. I'm not entirely sure if I will again this year, but that's the plan.
Yeah. I figured that since Ohio's a lot closer to Indiana than California, I assume that
Yeah.
a lot more Ohio or really any other neighboring state members would go to national convention.
It's definitely a lot less of a drive for us, just hours. It
Well,
well, we don't have a ton of people that typically go, normally about 10, 11, but that is about a third of our chapter. So decent attendance.
I was gonna say for us, I mean, we have to take a whole plane over there.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that's out of my hypotheticals. Um, so to end off this podcast, I pretty much ask everybody this. If you could say one thing to the listeners of this podcast, what would you say?
I'd say so. For me anyway, I really like to focus on leadership and growth, but there's no real defining difference between a leader and a follower. A leader is just someone that's willing to take that step, pave their own path, and create a new method going about things. So anyone can be a leader, anyone can make an impact. You just need to take that step.
All right, wonderful words. This is episode 9 with your interviewee, Isaiah Todd, and your host, Jackson Wadley. Thank you.